Hello. This is feeling like a jinx, I suppose, is the easiest way to approach this. It's something that I've noticed as I've gone through life, how I feel like I'm a little bit of a jinx to kind of a lot of stuff. Mainly work, it would seem. And it always comes down to, obviously it's just pure coincidence and just the way that the cards fall, but it's sort of funny how when I make a decision with work, it's like a catalyst to make everything just go a bit pear-shaped. Now this starts like when I had my first proper job, like after school, after college, doing all those little part-time jobs and stuff. And then like when everything went pear-shaped at university and I got my first proper job at an electrical firm. I worked in the office for a long time and then they decided that it might be a good idea if I went down the apprenticeship scheme. So the economy was in the bin. I thought, you know what, let's do this. I jumped on the apprenticeship scheme. And when I was doing that apprenticeship, my workplace completely dried up with electrical work. So it meant that I basically had to do 4 years of learning practical skills without getting the on-site training to learn the practical skills, which was quite demoralizing, I guess, because, you're not learning really what you need to learn. Long story short, I managed to get through the exam pass. I am technically a fully qualified electrician, although I don't feel that I've got any experience whatsoever. And I decided, you know what, because work is so dry and it wasn't really something that I was enjoying, I was like, maybe it's just the firm. Maybe if I change firm, then who knows? I might get some more experience. It might change my perspective on how I feel about it and everything else. So I changed firms. And what happened after I changed firms? Literally, I'm not even weeks later, they ended up getting a lot of work and they've been like really, really busy ever since. And this is a long time ago now and they've been really, really busy ever since. Company's grown quite large. They're doing really well. The other company that I went to, don't get me wrong, it's so badly run. It was like jumping from the frying pan into the fire. It was a worse situation and that made me sort of very, very clear that this wasn't the line of work for me. And I ended up just coming out of that. It was really tough actually because I had nowhere else to go into. But I just could not keep doing that work. It was really I was either going to kill somebody because of the hours that they were making me work or wanting me to work and like the mistakes that I was going to make. I was not confident in my competence, shall we say, because I just hadn't got the experience needed to do the job and I just wasn't happy with the expectation. Bearing in mind that I told them kind of at the interview process my situation, so they knew. It wasn't just like I tried to blag that I was an electrician. I laid it out for them and they happily took me on and they said that there'd always be somebody with me, and there wasn't. So I wasn't very confident that I wasn't going to make a mistake that, wasn't going to be dangerous. So anyway, I came out of that and I was looking for work and I found a job at a foundry. Now the foundry was amazing. It was a really small family-run business. When I had a look at stuff, they had like continuous amount of work and we were churning through and it was really nice. I had a little induction, they were happy and I worked there basically. And it just found that it dried up with work again really quickly. Like really quickly. We went from being really, really busy to 2-3 things a year. And it's, again, a situation where the guy that I was working alongside was very protective of his knowledge. He didn't really want to share anything with me. He wasn't really teaching me how to do stuff. It was a case of, oh, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. So I didn't particularly learn as much there as what I wanted to. Like, I tried, don't get me wrong. I tried to learn what I could, but you can only learn so much without the guidance. Again, these are things that you can't exactly make too many big mistakes on because it's very costly. Like bronze artwork is very, very costly process to kind of fix things, especially, the further along the production chain you go, the worse it becomes. So that was tricky. And again, it was a situation of I tried to find a balance with them. You know, it was around COVID as well, so that actually helped the business because it meant that we didn't have to go to work for a whole year and we didn't have any work to do. So it really helped the business out there. And then when we went back, it was just like, it was so dead. It was so dried up. And I could not keep turning up to work to literally do nothing. And it was literally nothing. It's not one of those, oh yeah, there's nothing to do, which means there's jobs to do, but you don't want to do them. I mean, there was literally absolutely nothing to do. They had us out in the garden. We'd weeded everything. We'd literally done all the flower beds. We'd done all the little odd jobs around the actual house and the garden itself. And there was nothing left to do. Absolutely nothing left to do. And I just couldn't warrant what felt like wasting the valuable time of life that we have, because we don't know how long it is, turning up to some place and doing nothing. And I was just like, I can't do it. So I came to an agreement with them that if there was no work, there's no point in me going in. And I know that's shooting myself in the foot, because that's basically saying I'm not going to turn up and get a wage for nothing. But I need to feel that I'm doing something. It was just mentally killing me. In that space of time, I worked on one of my other channels, and it was going okay, actually. You know, it was going really well. It was a lot of work on that channel, and I did find it like burning out trying to do all of that stuff. But it kind of really did push that channel. It was a nice way to progress that channel. But I need something of like consistent payment. You know, you can't jump on a YouTube channel if they're not in a big situation, because you're not making the money that you need to kind of just do basic life. So, you know, I was still at that foundry right up until a couple of years ago when my back basically went bang. And on one hand, that was a good thing for them because they had no work and they've just lost a staff member, so great. But for me, again, it was a situation of not knowing where I was going to be. I kept them up to date with the situation of my back, and they basically paid me off. They gave me a redundancy package, even though I wasn't technically made redundant. It was just more an agreement that at this current moment in time, I am unable to physically do the job that I am required to do. And they were like, okay, well, we're going to have to let you go, kind of thing. I guess it's sort of like a severance package, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, they sort of paid me a couple of months off and whatever else. And it was all this kind of, all right, when you're better, let us know. We can probably have a look. You've been really good for the foundry. You get on with everybody, you know the work. So we'll see what we can do. And I let them know, and they were like, oh no, we weren't expecting you to come back. Which was just kind of like a kick in the dick, I won't lie, because the way that they spoke about it before was like they were happy to take me back. And then when the situation comes to it, they were like, oh no, we never meant, they were never meant that. You know, that's what it felt when they're saying, oh, we weren't expecting that we would be having you back, sort of thing. It wasn't, but, you know, previously telling me, oh yeah, it'd be love to have you back. And so it's like, you know, whatever, two different words saying two different things and everything else. But again, that just felt like bad luck that, you know, I started working at that foundry, it had loads of work and the work just dive bombed and it just went to nothing, to the point where they say that they're happy for me to return, and then when the time comes, oh no, we weren't expecting you to come back. So, you know, work must have really dried up. And then ironically, they got a really big job doing a commission of the Queen. So it feels again that once I'm out of the situation, the work's picked up. And now fast forward to the current job that I do, where you guys, if you've been watching, know that I make things for the adult industry, I guess. And it was a really, really good start actually. Like, business was absolutely booming. Within the first month of me being there, we've moved premises, we've got a bigger building, we're like producing so much more. And it got to a point where I asked them about investing into the business, to be honest. Like, it was really positive. Things were looking really nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like how something just is going on a very good upward trend. And even speaking to the lads that run it, they were like, yeah, business is up. It's continuing to grow. We're we're looking to expand into this and everything else, and we're looking to get on board with these people, and it's been a real positive direction. But then it feels like as soon as I got into a conversation with them about investing, and we've been talking about things and like how the process goes, potentially, how it looks from their point of view, like what they would be hoping to get from me for sort of what percentages and stuff. Since talking about all that, business has nosedived, like properly nosedived, to the point now where we are being really, really cautious with material because they don't want to spend money because it just sounds like they don't have it. I noticed the last couple of months, all they've done is kind of stress about the situation of finances. And yeah, it again just feels like I'm a jinx to other people's business. And that makes work really damn hard because every time I turn up somewhere and work there for a bit, either, as with the electrical firms, the business is drying up and it's just rubbish, and you hang around for a few years, and then when you get to the point where it's like, this is just not working for me, I'm going to go somewhere else, you leave the situation just as it gets better. Or as the case with the foundry and with this place, it's going well, and then you're there, and then it tanks. Like, it tanks. And I don't know what the word is, demoralizing or something, is that feeling that I know that if I was to leave, business picks up again, like it did with the foundry. And it benefits more people in that situation because, well, you either stay at a company until they can't employ you anymore, or you move on to the next adventure. And it's not just work, there's just stuff in life as well. Like, it feels like every decision that I've made along the way has always been done with good intention, but something always goes wrong. There's always a hiccup along the way, which then makes the decision not as streamlined as it was going to be. I don't know. It's an interesting one that has always been in the back of my mind, that I've noticed it, but never really spent time to think about it. But obviously with this happening again with work, it's kind of hard to ignore it. Now, I'm obviously well aware that, like, the situations happen regardless. And to look at it like I am the like cause and effect kind of situation is just stupid. I get that, don't get me wrong. But as with most things that I noticed about my little world, my own little life and bubble, is it's really hard to see another variable when I am the variable in most of the situation, well, all of the situations. That in itself, of course, is a bit of an obvious, because you as the individual will experience things in your own life. So you are going to feel like a variable along the way constantly. It's just really tricky to see it as something else. And at the minute, I feel really, really demoralised today. I woke up in a good mood and I just wanted to talk about this sort of stuff because it was something I noticed. But just talking about it and just thinking about it, it's kind of really demoralising. It really is, I won't lie, because you just feel like you're built to be a disaster in one way or another. Like, you're built to just kind of not succeed, or, you're built to kind of just be at the lower end of everything just because your presence, your who you are, your makeup, your whatever it is about you has this aura of just a jinx. And I guess that's because I don't know of anything positive that's happened and that's been a constant, that hasn't, undone itself one way or another. And I try not to let that get to me. I really do, because I think, well, it's too easy to get depressed on the stuff that if it constantly feels like nothing comes up roses, then, you know, things just look bleak, don't they? But I can't help but notice that I do feel like I'm treading a lot of water all the time, and it's like there's no positive. There's nothing comes up good for me. You know, if I'm involved in a situation, it is going to tank. It is going to tank, and I just feel sorry for everybody else who's involved in that situation, because I feel like I am the cause. I am the jinx that brings the mishap onto people. But I don't know. We'll see how we go. I hope you guys are doing better than I'm feeling right now. But yeah, peace and love, dudes. Catch you in a bit.